OBS tips and tricks. Here are some of my favorites. If you find any of these helpful, be sure to hit that subscribe button, notifications, thumbs up if you find anything in here helpful. And if you have any questions, leave a comment in the comment section below. All right, so starting off with the first one. Some of these you may know, some of these you may not know. So let's get to the first one. So when you start OBS, right? You might just double click it or whatever. To get the most out of it and to help it be a priority, you can and should always right click and run this as administrator. Running it as administrator allows it to get more resources from the computer. It just helps it with regards to encoding. It's just overall good thing to do when you have a piece of software that you want to be a priority. Now, with it being a priority, we get to tip number 2, which is making it a priority. This allows it to be a priority with the CPU, the GPU, and the RAM. To do that, you need to go to your taskbar and then click on your task manager. You can also do Control-Shift-Escape. We'll close this out. If you do Control-Shift-Escape, it'll bring it up too. And you want to go to your apps, and we're going to find OBS in here. Scroll all the way down until you find OBS, and we're going to right click on it. Go down to Set Priority. Normal just means it's normal. It just runs like any other program. If you wanted to get a higher priority with regards to your CPU, your RAM, and your GPU, you can go above normal, high, or real time, where it allows OBS to get a priority based on real time feedback from the software. Anyway, click Change Priority, and if you open it back up and go back down to Set Priority, you'll see that it's in real time. So those are the first two. Let's move on to number 3. Number 3 will be removing plugins. It's just a useful thing to know how to do on OBS. You may get a plugin that doesn't work on a new version of OBS, or it's outdated or just whatever, and you need to remove the plugin. There's really no way to go inside of OBS when you go up here and you're clicking through here and you tools, you're like, okay, I have all these plugins. I can install plugins by going to the website, but how do I get rid of them? That'll be linked up there. I already did a video on how to get rid of plugins in OBS. It's a very useful thing to know how to do. Go check that out. That's number 3. Okay, so for the next one, audio. When working with audio, it can cause a lot of issues with audio. Seems to be my biggest issue when it comes to anything that I've done on OBS. This could be getting the audio working properly, or having syncing issues with sending it over a network or whatever. There is a way where you can do away with syncing issues with regards to audio. To be able to do that, you just go create an audio source, or if you already have an audio source, you just open it up. I'm going to go ahead and create one. Now that you have your audio source, you can see this capturing my mic. You can go to this button right here and go to Advanced Audio Properties. And we're going to go to the audio input capture. If you go over to this sync offset right here, versus 0 milliseconds, you can actually change this. 1,000 milliseconds is a second, in case you didn't know that. So if your sync is off, like by a second, by a half second, you would just change this, and then go ahead and hit enter, and it would have a half-second delay for your audio. You can do that with any of your audio devices. Extra little tip here: if you see these tracks over here, OBS allows you to have 6 different tracks, so you can send audio to different tracks. And this is how you do the Twitch thing with sending audio to Twitch and then not sending like music. So where you would have them in 2 different tracks, like track 2, track 6. You can also make this monitor off, monitor only, and mute the output, and then monitor monitor and output. That way you can hear it in your headset. That's an audio setting for you. And we're going to move on to the next one. Okay, so the next one has to do with video and the output of the video. If you go to your output and go to advanced, you're going to see all of this right here. Now, you're going over to your recording for the videos you record, if you want to record the videos, or if you're wanting to record them while you're streaming, it doesn't matter what you're doing. You want to go down to here to recording format, and you want to make it, you would think that you would make it MP4, but that actually causes the encoder to use up more bandwidth than what it should. So you want to go down to MKV and set it to MKV. You're probably thinking, oh, I don't know what this format is. Well, we'll get to that here in just a second. Then you want to choose your encoder, what you're using for your encoder, right? The NVENC, AV1, Apple, or whatever one you're using. And you want to make sure that you choose one that is applicable to your system. We're going to hit apply, and then we're going to go down to advanced. Once you get to advanced, you're going to scroll down to recording right here. This one right here where it says automatically remux to MP4, check that and then click apply. What that'll do is it'll take the MKV file after you're done recording, streaming, whatever you're going to do, and it will put that MKV file and make it an MP4, or put it in a container, because MP4 is a container. Anyway, it'll change it from an MKV file to an MP4 so you can read it with like the many different video editing softwares that is out there. Premiere, Shotcut, DaVinci Resolve, whatever you're using. They all like MP4s. Not all of them like MKV files, so this will help the encoder not be utilized so much, because it takes a lot of processing power to encode an MP4. So, in summary on that one, just make it an MKV file and then go into your advanced settings, recording, and then check that automatically remux to MP4. Okay, so we'll go on to the next one. Okay, so this one's more of a tip rather than a trick. If you've ever come into your settings and you're like, okay, I need to change my video settings so where they're a little bit lower because the encoder is getting overloaded, and you go to your output and you see them, you're like, well, these are all grayed out. What is going on here? Why are these all grayed out? I don't understand what I'm doing wrong to make these all grayed out. If you're using something else on OBS, such as Teleport or NDI, if they're running, or if you have them check marked so where they're broadcasting, or if you have some video source that is broadcasting out, even though you're not streaming or recording, it's still feeding, then OBS will not allow you to change the settings. For this case, what I did was I turned NDI on. So where it's broadcasting, it's not broadcasting anything actually. It's just on. So where it's pushing video data over the network. You would go into your tools and you would find that source. In this case, it's NDI. And go to the main output where it's outputting. Uncheck mark it and then click OK. And then you can go back into your settings and everything will be able to be selected. It won't be grayed out anymore. Obviously, this one is grayed out because you're not rescaling anything, but yeah. That would be the case with just about any video source that is utilizing the encoder or just encoding. It will not allow you to change the settings unless there is nothing broadcasting. And on to the next one. I didn't know if people actually knew this, but if you're transitioning from like Streamlabs, OBS, it's not Streamlabs OBS anymore, but the slobs thing, you can import any of your scenes from Streamlabs over to OBS. All you have to do is go up to Scene Collection, click on Import, and you can import any of them. You can export them if you want. We're going to go back to import here really quick. Once you get to import, we're going to click Add, And then it will allow you to add specific things to your OBS collection. This is where you would go into Streamlabs and you would find the location in which Streamlabs hides their, their collection or their scene packs or whatever you want to call them, and then you would import them that way. You can also, inside of Streamlabs OBS, I shouldn't be calling it that, I don't think. They just call it Streamlabs Desktop. Okay, we'll open this up really fast. If you go down here to settings, okay, if you go down here to the settings, the little gear down here, and then we're going to go down to scene collection. You can go ahead and export the overlay file, and you can export it to wherever you want. And then you would go back over to OBS and then import. You would just go ahead and find the location where you put that. Easy enough to import scenes and different things that you can get inside of Streamlabs. If you find a pack that you like and you want to use OBS, you don't have to lose the pack. You can just export it from Streamlabs over to OBS. Okay, on to the next one. Bet you didn't know you could make anything a dock. You might have already known that, but whatever. So docks, right? You can go to docks and you can go down here to custom browser docks. Let's say let's say you want to use Kick, right? So you would open it up and we would go over to your created dashboard. You could do this with Twitch. You can do this with Facebook, YouTube, whatever. And we're going to find the chat right here. We're going to go to this gear and we're going to do pop out. So it's popped out, right? You're going to highlight the URL, copy it, and then we're going to go back into OBS. Name the doc. We're going to name this Kick Chat. We go over to the URL, paste the URL, click apply. Now you have the Kick Chat. Easy enough, right? Okay, on to the last one. And this one, I bet, is one that has aggravated a lot of people. First, I need to get an image up here. We'll go ahead and use this GoPro webcam right here. So when you highlight an image, video source, whatever, with OBS, you can shrink it or you can scale it, however you want to say it. If you notice right here, it gives you these black bars right here. You can crop this by pressing and holding the Alt key and then going by these boxes, right? But you'll notice it's not scaling right, or it's not cropping, because the Alt button allows you to crop an image, video, whatever. But it's got this whole thing in here where it doesn't allow you to actually crop it, and it's scaling weird, right? It just scales weird, and no matter what you do, it doesn't crop right. There's a fix for this. Make sure you have it highlighted. You can either right click or while it's highlighted, you can go to edit, transform, and we're going to edit the transform. Once you're in here, you're going to see a lot of numbers and a lot of stuff. This bounding box right here is the reason why you can't crop it properly. So it's scaled to the inner bounds. So it's scaling to the innermost part of the image, the video source, whatever. If we go ahead and click on that and then go down to no bounds, now we can crop it how we want to. You can make this image bigger. You hit the Alt and you go back to that box, and now you can crop it properly. You'll notice it's cropping properly because you'll see the green dotted line right here. You'll see it show up. That means you're going to crop it. That means you're cropping it properly. Just to show you this again, we're going to edit the transform and we're going to change it back to scale to inner bounds. See how it doesn't have that green broken line anymore? Transform, edit transform, no bounds. Makes it bigger, and then when you hit Alt, you're able to crop it. Now you've got that green broken line again, saying that it's cropping properly. Okay, so there are my 10 tips and tricks. There's probably a little bit more than 10 in there because I added a couple in there. But anyway, those are some of the tips and tricks for OBS that I've found to be the most useful. All the other ones that I could get into would mostly have to do with individual systems. So yeah, what you guys think? You like the tips and tricks? You see more videos like this on OBS? Let me know in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next one.